It's Ashley Horsfall, the author of Getting Through Tough Times with HealthyPlace, and today I wanted to talk to you about my experiences with talking to people about my depression and how it impacted my life. The first people I talked to about my depression were probably friends and people I'd known for a long time, but I didn't really want to get too deep with the conversation, so I would tend to just say things that were jokes or allude to going to therapy or something like that. And most of these comments were well received, and eventually talking about it did lead to deeper conversations, and I found out that a lot of the people that I thought would never understand what I was going through were actually going through the exact same things that I was. So it was actually refreshing to be able to talk to people about these things that, I never would have known about otherwise. And then talking to my family was a little more serious. I really didn't want to do it because I didn't want anyone to feel guilty or sad about things that I'd gone through, and I especially didn't want anybody to feel like they had failed me by not seeing symptoms when I was younger, like 12 or 13. So I definitely, kind of held back at first and eventually got into the deeper conversations, but I think most people probably learned about my depression because they read about it in something that I'd written. So it was really there wasn't really a moment where I said, I'm gonna tell everybody what I'm going through. It was kind of one by one, and kind of depended on the type of relationship I'd had with them. And some relationships got better because I talked about it, and some didn't. But either way, I think it was good for me to do because I could build these genuine relationships with people that I didn't have before. But the most surprising relationship that I've built in talking about my depression has been with strangers, people I've never met or talked to before on the internet. A lot of people will, comment on things I've written about my depression and say, well, I'm going through the exact same thing that you are. And, it feels good to hear that, you are not alone in what you're going through. And while your experiences may vary wildly, there are also a lot of ways in which they're similar, and it's really nice to be able to see how other people cope, maybe use some of those techniques for yourself, or even just know that there are other people out there like you. I think that talking to people and being honest about my depression has been one of the best things that I've been able to do in the last few years. It wasn't easy, and it still isn't easy, but it's definitely an improvement over, feeling like I had to hide all the time. I definitely don't feel like I'm doing that now. So I want to hear from you about your experiences talking about depression. How did it impact your life or your relationship?